Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Closers Podcast. I am your host, as always, Marco Alvarado, and joining me, as always, is Quinn, the Moondog Kalani. Quinn, how are you?
I'm ready to howl at the moon, brother.
There we go. Before we jump into today's topics, I just want to say, as always, please follow us on Instagram at The Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are The Closers Podcast. Share these episodes with your favorite people so we can build a community of favorite people. We're going guestless today. There were some logistical malfunctions, I guess you could say, that happened with the guest that was lined up. Maybe we'll be able to have that person on in the future, but we'll see. Towards the end of the episode, we do have an announcement, but until then, we will hit on that at the very end. Quinn, we were trying to figure out kind of some things to talk about, and you mentioned that you are not in favor of participating in the vaccination for COVID-19. Well, or you're a little sussed out.
It's not that I'm not in favor, but I am sussed out. This has been like record speed for a vaccination turnaround, and my trepidation is the potential side effects if it was rushed down the road. You know, there have been gazillions of instances when products have been pushed into the American marketplace without due diligence, only for symptoms and side effects 10, 20 years, another generation to show up, and then they're like, oh well, you know, we left boron and uranium in the vaccine, so
yeah.
We're not surprised that your, grandchild had 3 eyes and 3 tits, like,
right.
So I'm a little nervous about it. I don't know, maybe it's unfounded. What do you think? How do you feel about it?
I don't think I'm going to be one of the first people to get the vaccine.
Oh, for sure not. I'm definitely not, I'm not definitely being patient zero, but maybe roll out phase 3, phase 4.
Yeah, I think phase 3 is probably my sweet spot. I'll kind of wait a minute. Also because I am in a lesser, I'm in a category of people that it would be inclined, that is most likely to be less affected by the virus. So on the priority list, I would be lower, as would yourself. So maybe even if I wanted to be one of the first ones to get the vaccine, I wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure how that whole process works, but I mean, just from thinking about it, I do see the risks. I mean, there's always risks when you put anything in your body, regardless if it's a vaccine or alcohol or any sort of, drugs. But
that extra plate of lasagna.
Yeah, or that too. There's always a risk in anything that you put in your body. But I feel like the vaccine is the only way that us as Americans can get back to our normal lives, because we have decided to not sacrifice anything that really would go as far as to effectively combat this virus without a vaccine.
Right.
We're still eating out.
Yeah, New Zealand, we are not.
Yeah, in New Zealand, they're fine. In I believe it was Taiwan and some Southeast Asian countries, they have zero cases. They've been able to put on music festivals.
They're doing full-on rugby matches in New Zealand.
Yeah, the extremes that we would have to go to in order to combat this virus without vaccinations, we don't want to go that far. So This is the only way that we can solve this. And it's just kind of ironic how a lot of the people that don't want to abide by the restrictions imposed by the government in order to combat COVID-19 are the same people that don't want to take the vaccine.
Right.
It's pretty ironic to me.
It's ironic, but it doesn't surprise me. The more and more I think about it, I feel like it's ingrained into the American DNA at some level to almost be a dissenter. When something is promoted to be the way something should be done, it's almost the American way to be like, I'll go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I see that.
I mean, the birth of our nation is marred by violent dissension.
That's true. I just feel like there's multiple sides to that dissension as well.
Oh, so yeah. No, there's countless variables, but just in a broad sort of perspective.
I don't disagree with that. It's just there is a time and place where that sort of thought is definitely necessary. But for that to be your default response to any sort of suggestion or any sort of restriction placed on something in order to help you with your best interests in mind, and you're just like, you're trying to help me? Well, I'm just going to go the other way and not take your help and make my life a lot more difficult because that's the American way. It's like, I respect that thought process to a degree in certain situations, and in most situations I have grown to strongly dislike that part of American culture personally.
Right.
It's a little it can be you're inducing harm on yourself by abiding by that philosophy if you live and die by that, you know. Personally, that's my experience, but I mean, obviously there's people who have had many different experiences with that concept.
Right. But it's going to get hard to get right wingers to abide in by any philosophy. Hell, but there's so many layers to it. Like, at some point, you know, for those that don't want to hop on board with mandates or, you know, advisory things, you know, I'm about to fly back to California here soon, and while I'm not required to do a quarantine, I'm gonna do a quarantine. But I understand why people would push back against that, especially considering when our leaders often fail to abide by these very specific mandates. And I'm talking specifically to you, Gavin Fuckboy Newsom.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
You and your Napa Valley shindigs.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. For those of you who do not know, out here in California, there was restrictions placed on gatherings more than 10, I believe, again. And there was more, you know, the same restrictions that we've had basically since March have been reapplied to the state.
Back to purple.
Back to purple, back to the most severe restrictions to date. But right after Gavin Newsom reapplied those restrictions, he was like seen at like dinners, at like parties. He was seen just
he went to a birthday party for a lobbyist in Napa Valley. I mean, one, concerning, why are you at a birthday party? And two, why are you at a birthday party for a lobbyist?
Yeah, exactly. It's very sus, very sus, very sus.
So, I mean, on one hand, I understand it where it's, you know, when your overlords aren't abiding by, you know, the things that they're mandating upon you, I understand why people are hesitant to take it as serious as they should. Yeah. Or as we all should when, you know, the elite class aren't.
Sure.
I understand it to a degree.
Yeah. I do want to say something that is not 100% confirmed. I have been told by some sources I have, but these sources are not verifiable. That's just words on the street more so than... I'm not Woj, okay? I'm not Shams Sarania or anything like that. I'm just straight talking from the things I've heard on the street, from some people who know other people who are
you went straight to Woj.
Who are in yeah. I mean, he's the guy that's just like, my sources say, you know, James Harden wants to get traded to the New York Nets. It's like, okay, yeah, thanks. From what I've heard from people who know things within the government of Sacramento and the California politics, Gavin Newsom is planning on running for the presidency in 2024.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure. Say what you want about Gavin Newsom, but if you got a full head of hair and a mildly attractive face, and you're a politician, run for president. Run for president.
Dude, it's... Yeah.
For sure. If anyone thought that the governorship of California was a stay and not a stop, foolish.
True.
Foolish.
Unless your name is Jerry Brown.
Yeah. Old Sleepy Jerry. Old Sleepy Jerry. Let me tell you something. I'm missing nap time right about now. I'm missing nap time. Let's get Sleepy Jerry back in the big white house.
Downtown. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens in 2024. But from what I've heard, that's the plan.
Let's get back to celebrity governors. Who
would you want to be the governor?
As a celebrity?
Yeah, if you could have any celebrity other than Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he's already been the governor of California. But if you could have anybody that is considered a celebrity as the governor of California, who would you want?
Steve Harvey.
Why?
I need that mustache to represent California.
That Theo Drew line?
Yeah. Come on, man. Steve Harvey. This dude is the host of Family Feud. Family Feud is the greatest game show in American history.
I don't know about that.
Oh, for my money. I fucking love Family Feud.
Okay.
And the host of Family Feud is the translator, is the sinew that connects us together, not only as Americans but as family members.
Man, I used to think Family Feud was the most janky ass game show ever. Dude, because it would come on like the janky ass game show network channel when I was growing up.
Dude, I love Family Feud. I love it when you get the weirdos on there. They say the craziest shit.
Dude, it's called CW 31 now, but back in the day, it used to be like the Warner Brother Network or the Warner Brother channel, and that channel,
the WB, and then it became CW.
Yeah, the WB and the WB.
WB.
Yeah, with the
Remember
fucking,
the fucking frog, that racist frog dancing around. Oh, we'll be right back. Seventh Heaven at 7.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I used to think that show was or not that show, but yeah, that show and that channel was janky because they would always play Family Feud at like the most odd hours of the day. Like it was never prime time. Like whenever I watched it, it never was prime time. So like,
well, that's because CW and Warner Brothers was like the black NBC. I mean, that's where you had like Martin and like all the dope shows.
That's very true. It's just like, man, like I remember like that would be on with like an old host. I forgot who was the host prior to Steve Harvey, but
I don't remember who the host was prior to Steve Harvey either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey has always been the guy to me for that.
Really? Yeah, there was another host who was just like boring, and then they had this one show called Shop Till You Drop. I don't know if you remember that show.
Is that where you have to guess the prices of things that you put in your cart?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought that'd be a fun game to go on.
The Weakest Link would be on during like daytime shit with like the British version where the lady was a straight bitch. Like she was just
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah.
She just shut him down right there.
Yeah, no. And then like their chair would get pulled back into the darkness and you would never see them again. That shit was insane. That shit was intense.
Dude, game shows in the mid to early 2000s peak.
Would you say they peaked then?
Well, I'd say, okay, so you got the 70s when you got like Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
And like all that crazy shit. And then I feel like there's a real drop in the 80s. And then in the 90s, things start to pick back up. You know, Jeopardy comes around.
Yeah, with Alex Trebek. Well, Alex Trebek picked up the Jeopardy shit in the 80s.
I have no idea. I don't remember Jeopardy before Alex Trebek.
Well, Alex Trebek is the first host, was it?
You know who should replace Alex Trebek?
Who?
The fucking Reading Rainbow dude. LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton, bro? That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, man.
That'd be kind of cool. I would love that.
I saw that online and I was like, oh, that's perfect, dude. 1984, first episode.
1984 with Alex Trebek. But there was original, there were other episodes in 64 and 74.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was like a reboot.
Yeah, there was a reboot.
Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right. Price is Right is also a pretty dope one. Price is Right is a pretty dope
Dude, Price is Right is pretty sick. I always like, I don't know why, but it just brings comfort hearing that sound, you know?
Right. I'm also a big fan of Drew Carey. I think Drew Carey's hilarious.
It just, that sound makes me feel like I'm like 9 years old again and I got to stay home from school because I faked a stomach ache and I'm like eating my cereal and I'm just like, I got my day off, motherfucker. Yeah.
It was, so those were your stay-at-home go-tos?
Yeah.
Those midday go-tos?
Yeah.
Dude, I would always go to the darkness, man. I was like all in on Jerry Springer and Maury whenever I'd skip, dude, like around 1 o'clock when they would start dropping. Montel, I was big into Montel.
Oh, Montel. Yeah, I would try to watch Maury and stuff, but it just kind of annoyed me. I just got annoyed.
I love that shit when you get some person, this fucking bitch been cheating on me, been fucking around my brother, and she gonna tell me it's my fucking kid. That motherfucker don't even look like me. And then Maury's just like, all right, are we ready for the results? And the crowd's like, yeah!
I know, the crowd is so animated. It's just like, what the fuck?
And then he reads it and he's like, Jason, you are not the father. And then fucking the guy gets up, starts fucking like moonwalking and dancing. He's like, yeah, I told y'all. And then the fucking girl, who's usually like 450 plus, just like storms out of there.
Dude,
I can't believe this.
Or the opposite. Dude, the opposite is always hella funny too. It's like, Jason, you are the father, and the dude gets up and runs to the back and the chick like chases after him and like the security like, oh man, it's crazy.
She's like, we can make it work. We can do this together. And she just hasn't picked up on the fact that this dude wants nothing to do with your ugly ass. Like, come on, bitch. Like, you really drug this man all the way to Murray. And then you put him in this terrible position in front of America, because he just should just be like, you ugly, and leave her.
But it's also his fault,
right?
Because you should have never gotten involved with that person to begin with if you never wanted. Yeah,
it is refreshing though. Every once in a while, where you'll see the dude and he'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna be the father that I can be.
Yeah.
These guys, they always pick people from the South.
I know, they always do.
They're always propagating stereotypes of stupid Southerners, but...
Yeah, and then you have Maury with a New York accent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and him as the kind of moderator just put him in sort of an elitist sort of position, you know? I have the results in my hand. Who wants them? You fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Shower me with your praise.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next generation, Steve Wilkos, just revs it up like 3 times more.
Steve Wilkos got the scrappers. He got the scrappers, dude, because he was fucking a giant.
Yeah.
A giant fucking thumb sitting there. He'd be like, apology. He had no voice for television either, which was hilarious. Who thought this guy should be the host? Fucking the dude from The Princess Bride. Would you like a peanut? Fucking that guy should host a show on ABC. Yeah, let's do it.
Dude, Steve Wilkos was wild. Yeah, what's the one with the African American dude? What's his name?
Montel,
dude, Montel was hella funny too.
I used to say, I gotta catch Monteezy at 1:30.
Dude, is Montel? What does he do now? Did he die?
Oh, he super promotes CBD. Like, he's all about that weed life, that smoke life. He wants all that smoke.
Montel Brian Anthony Williams is an American former television host, actor, and motivational speaker. He is best known as the host of the long-running daytime tabloid talk show, The Montel Williams Show, which ran in syndication from 91 to 08. Damn, dude. So he doesn't really do much anymore.
But you know what's crazy? None of these guys evolved out of the Bat Boy tabloid side of this world. True. Into the Oprah side.
True.
Like, Oprah began as one of these motherfuckers. She'd have little fucking cracker midgets, like, wrestling around for all their entertainment. And then, now she has a book club and a fucking farm and all this shit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone else that was in this world was just like, nah, let's stay in the filth.
Yeah, they just stayed. Apparently, Kamala Harris once dated Montel Williams.
Well, that don't surprise me.
Can you believe that? I can. Yeah. That's hella funny.
That don't surprise me. Montel Williams is a player for sure, dog. You see how well trimmed his facial hair is, dude.
With the pencil stash, dude. It's that
pencil, dude, and those V-neck sweaters,
or either the V-neck sweaters or the turtlenecks, bro.
Dude, if you're rocking a turtleneck, bro, you are so confident in your dick game. Like there is no wavering in how you lay the pipe if you're rocking a turtleneck casually. Like if you were to wear a turtleneck to O'Charlie's and I see you, well, I know you lay it down, brother. I don't know what the West Coast equivalent to O'Charlie's would be. Probably like a Rubio's.
Is that? I don't even know what an O'Charlie's.
O'Charlie's is kind of like an American dining restaurant.
I mean, it's funny how we're talking about daytime television because also like you never hear about somebody who starts in like daytime TV and is able to go into nighttime TV, right?
Yeah. The only person, maybe. And I don't know what time this aired. It probably didn't air tonight due to the risque nature of the content. But Jimmy Kimmel started on The Man Show.
Oh, God. That stupid show. That show was dumb. I hate that show. Looking back, I just
remember women jumping on trampolines in bikinis. And Jimmy Kimmel chugging beer.
Yeah, that show was ridiculous.
It's literally all I remember from that show.
Definitely a product of its time, but regardless, that show was stupid and purported many stereotypes that nowadays we're like, oh my God, you know?
Is it any less stupid than Saturday Night Live? Sorry.
Current? Like right now?
Yeah, Saturday Night Live is not great.
Oh yeah, no, it's trash too. I agree with that. It's just not funny. But you know somebody who stemmed from Saturday Night Live and moved into, hosting his own show, own late night talk show?
Conan.
Was Conan on Saturday Night Live?
I think he was a writer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Also Seth Meyers.
True. But the most infamous one is Jimmy Fallon. Trash.
Oh, yeah.
Trash.
Not great. Not my thing, man. Not my thing.
He's pretty bad. Like,
I was never a Tonight Show person though. Like I didn't fuck with Jay Leno either. So.
Dude, but I watched an interview with Mark Maron that Jimmy Fallon did, and Jimmy Fallon just the whole time was just like laugh, like his whole interview style is just. Ask a person a question, they say something funny, and he's like, dude, it's literally that's what it is. And after, okay,
he is the Vino syndrome.
Yeah, usually I wouldn't like criticize people who have vastly more experience at something than I do, but like, man, I've interviewed people for about going on close to 2 years now. Easy a year and a half. I've done a lot of episodes interviewing people, and I've learned a lot over the time that I've done it. But like Jimmy Kimmel, man, or not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon is a terrible interviewer.
Everything just feels contrite and fake. Like everything feels rehearsed on the Late Show, with Jimmy Fallon. I think that's I think that's why I miss two guys in particular so much. The OG, David Letterman, the OG.
Me too.
And I also miss Craig Ferguson, who came on after Dave Letterman.
Oh, he was that British dude, right?
He was the Scot. Yeah, he was Scottish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to the Scottish. Yeah, I don't mean to confuse you guys. I know there's
I would if it was any other nationality, I would not have even corrected you. But the Scottish hate those limey British bastards. Yeah, Craig Ferguson was hilarious. And Letterman was king. In many ways, I feel like Letterman still is king. His interview program on Netflix is spectacular.
Yeah, I saw the one with Obama, which is kind of old now, but That one's
he did one.
good.
Yeah, his latest season has Dave Chappelle on it, which was pretty good.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't know.
And I think Iron Man's on there too. The Tony Stark, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Would you consider like Jon Stewart late night?
Yeah, I would.
All right. So I used to watch Jon Stewart all the time because I like Jon Stewart. I mean, I feel like Jon Stewart represented rationale in the 2000s.
How do you feel about Stephen Colbert?
I always knew Stephen Colbert was playing a character on the Colbert Show. Like he was obviously not a Republican. I'm not a fan of his Late Show. It's just I feel like the jokes all fall flat with me.
Yeah, I agree. I listened or I like the music that is featured on the Stephen Colbert Show and the Jimmy Fallon Show. Like they have some really.
Oh yeah, their bands are top tier.
Yeah, the bands that they get on to play are they're not really well known, and that's what's really cool to me. But the fact that the show itself isn't that great, like the music doesn't really make up for it. But still, who would you want to replace Jimmy Fallon if you could pick anybody other than Steve Harvey, since you would want him to be the governor of California in this fictitious world we're talking about, this hypothetical world?
Who would be a good late night host? I would probably, I think would be pretty decent at it. Joel McHale.
Joel McHale?
And I say this as a Rams fan to a Seahawks fan. Joel McHale. Jeff Winger of the Community Cast. Formerly of Talk Soup of the 2000s. I don't know if you remember Talk Soup. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Early, like Sunday mornings on the E Network. It was kind of like Tosh.0 before Tosh.0.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I would go Joel McHale if they're looking for someone to kind of stay in that television route. If this is the Quinn Kalani, if this is the Moondog Network, if this is Moondog TV, then
MDTV, Mad Dog 22, Mad Dog God. TV.
That's it. MDTV. I think late night television in this format is antiquated. I would lean more towards a podcast format, man. Yeah. Maybe just like an hour, one guest. Fuck an audience. Like
I like the audience, dude. The audience makes it like I don't know. It's interesting. I like the
that makes it the audience makes the show what it is.
Yeah. I just
if it wasn't live, it'd just be another fucking show.
Sure. I just like the interplay between the audience, the host, and the co-host / like musician dude. Those are
Conan O'Brien's really good at that.
Yeah, I love that. Like the quippiness and like the I don't know. And it's also like those shows are like the standard bearer. Like if you want to like kind of get some exposure, and you're an up and coming artist or an up and coming actor or up and coming creative person, like you get in on the Letterman show and oh my God, I'm on Letterman. Like, I got to do well here. I got to, come off a certain way that I want to come off, and I'll like basically solidify myself within the social landscape. And I mean, Joe Rogan's show is becoming kind of like that, but he's very selective with who comes on his show. And there's just less episodes a week that come out. So it's like these late night shows still are like proving grounds for up and coming artists and actors and comedians to kind of get their names out there.
Especially comedians.
Yeah, to kind of get their names out there. I think
it's almost just a marketing tool for the network. Right, because these shows are so network based.
Yeah,
The Tonight Show, ABC, The Late Show, CBS. I'm probably crisscrossing them, and then you have actors who are tied to projects. Like if you notice, in all the Marvel films, where do they go? They go to Jimmy Kimmel. Why? Because Jimmy Kimmel works for ABC. ABC is owned by Disney. It is interesting. I think if this was MDTV, I would like to take the capitalistic marketing promotional aspects out of it, or at the very least reduce them to like a fucking ad for Fleshlights. than the fucking kind of self-serving Hollywood circle jerk that it can be sometimes.
Sure. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. It is interesting, though, because my pick to replace Jimmy Fallon, I would just love to see somebody hella random. Like, I love what Eric Andre does at his show.
Yeah.
But I would love to see, though.
Ving Rhames.
No. I would love to see somebody like a random comedian that no one really thinks about anymore. And here's my pick. You're going to fucking die from this because it just is the dumbest pick ever. Ray Romano. Just imagine, bro. The Ray Romano.
It would be hilarious because Ray would get frustrated. And every time, listen, people of today, you may not know this, but in the 2000s and late 90s, there was a sitcom called Everyone Loves Raymond.
That's a great show. And
it was fucking hilarious. It is one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. It is so underrated. It is legit. It is so funny.
Dude, it's basically become a show that like every other sitcom, that and Roseanne.
Oh yeah.
Those two shows, like every other sitcom kind of plays off that, and Friends too. And Seinfeld. Those Friends, are like the four.
Oh man, Seinfeld is huge.
Those are like the four.
Are those your four sitcoms? Your four big sitcoms?
Those are the four sitcoms that every other sitcom from like 99 and onward have kind of played off of and have had used as like a template, basically, in terms of like forming dialogue, the narrative of the overall show, things of that nature.
Right. Roseanne is huge. Roseanne is huge in that format.
Yeah.
Roseanne is huge in that format.
Yeah.
Also, don't want to discount Full House, but
sure. I was just
fuck Full House.
Yeah, Full House is kind of dumb.
Full House was stupid because you would hear Bob Saget outside of Full House say crazy shit like, I'll suck a homeless guy's dick for money. And then you see him on Full House and he's, the nicest dad of all time.
Yeah, Bob Saget is wild, man.
Bob Saget is fucking insane.
What about Bob Saget hosting a late night show?
That would be chaos. It'd be pure fucking chaos.
Why did you not like my Ray Romano pick, though?
No, just because, dude, Ray, it wouldn't be much of an interview. I feel like Ray would say something and something would annoy him and then it would just snowball down from there. I used to love it when Ray would get pissed in the show.
He would just start talking in that nasally voice and you couldn't understand what he's fucking saying.
Oh, do you remember the episode where you meet his cousin for the first time and his voice is way more nasally than Ray's?
You mean the guy that plays his cousin in the show?
Yeah.
Because he's like a reoccurring character, right, in the show.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff, bunch of different shows.
Very, very deep voice. Yeah.
No, that's the guy who plays his brother.
Oh no, I don't.
That's the guy who plays his brother.
I don't remember the cousin.
Yeah, there's a cousin who has an extremely nasally voice. I can't pull the reference out cleanly for you, so there's not much in going into it.
I'm gonna look into it right now. Is it Fred Stoller?
Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, look at that guy's fucking face. Yeah, you can tell this dude speaks straight from the sinuses. I don't know if you remember, but he's in a scene in Dumb and Dumber when the dude, the big fat dude that dies of rat poison in Dumb and Dumber, he's on a phone in like a little like phone booth, and the guy walks up to him, he's like, "I need to use the phone." Yeah.
I remember. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's hella funny. Yeah, that dude's been in a lot of things where he just like shows up randomly and says something.
He's always that guy. Get off the phone. And so it just smacks the hell out of him. What a great career. That ideally, if my career could mirror that,
it'd be, you would want to mirror Fred Stoller's career.
I could die happy.
That's pretty great. I love that.
I could die happy, man.
I love that. Well,
what more could you ask for than to be the fucking deja vu of someone's
That's true.
movie memory.
So Thanksgiving is coming up. Thanksgiving is next week, actually. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, which this is when it comes out, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So, Quinn, I was thinking that we could just each share something that we're thankful for this year before we sign off and delve into the announcement.
Well, first and foremost, I think everyone is probably thankful for their health this year.
Definitely.
I know, almost surprisingly, for myself, maybe not surprisingly, I've been in rather very good health this year.
Yeah.
Thankfully, everyone in my immediate household was able to avoid, fingers crossed, pandemic. All of my friends, yourself included, Anthony, Jose, Irwin, Mitchell, Ryan, Kev, Double A, Terrell, Ross G. We were all able to avoid the Rona, so I'm very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for a Democratic victory.
Yeah. I think a lot of us are, sure.
In the presidential campaign. Hopefully, it is secured.
Yeah.
Within the next 70 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thankful for family, for friends. I'm thankful for optimism for the future, and I'm thankful for this program and this network, our Closers Podcast Network. Thankful that it has allowed me to step out of my shell a little bit and has introduced me into a plethora of cool people like Brianna Carmel, like Lychee, like shoot, I'm drawing blanks. Gabby, sorry, drew a big blank there, Gabby. Must be that godforsaken city you come from. Captain Foghorn Leghorn, who gave us great political insight. Austin Maynard, Captain Positivity himself.
Oh yeah, man.
Sacramento's #1 real estate agent.
It's true.
Let me just say something right now. If you need to be inspired, you follow my man Austin Maynard on Instagram. And you'll get your ass into gear real quick.
It's true, man. It's true.
So I'm thankful for this podcast and the people it's exposed me to, and for the friends and that it's helped me, or the acquaintances that it's helped me make, family, friends, good health, and optimism for the future.
Very nice, very eloquently put. You really summed it up for me, man. I would be sounding like a broken record, summing up everything. I do want to add, though, something else that I'm thankful for is, of course, the growth forced myself to embark on this year. And it started with my journey to Europe, and then with everything else that's happened.
You went to Sweden, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. God damn it. You know what? Fucking stupid. I hate you. Okay? It was a big deal, and it's a fucking big moment for my life. But regardless, coming back here, having to adjust with everything on the fly, and having to figure out where my life was going, after getting the rug kind of swept out from under me, as a lot of people have this year, that adjustment has shown a lot about, has shown me a lot about what life is about. And I've grown a new appreciation for the moment. So I'm just thankful for the moment. But like Quinn said, I'm thankful for the show. Thankful that I have been able to do it for as long as I have, and that Quinn was able to join this year. And there's just a lot of funny things that have happened in the show so far. And I look back on it with fond memories and everything that's happened this year. And I'm just thankful for it. Thankful for you, Quinn, and everybody else you listed off.
Likewise.
Oh yeah, I also don't want to forget to mention I'm thankful for my boys, Jake, Jonah, Jameson, Phillips, and Carlitos Salamanca.
Oh yeah, Paper Planes. Shout out to Paper Planes.
Oh
too.
Yeah, Paper Airplanes. Yep. Shout out Paper Airplanes.
Shout out to everyone who came out this year. I'm thankful that we were able to be consistent this year in our delivery. Yeah. For the most part, I'd say 95 to 98% we were consistent in putting out content this year. So I'm thankful that we were able to do that.
Yeah, same, dude. Same. I guess that brings us to the announcement then. I guess, I mean, there's no other way. Yeah, I guess I'll just jump right into it. So, the next 5 episodes of the show are going to be the last of the Closers podcast. I found my life getting very busy recently, and I feel like the show itself, for me personally, Quinn will probably speak on other things, but for me personally, the show has taught me a lot, like I just said. I'm thankful for so many things, and I just feel like everything has to come to an end at some point. And this show, it started kind of on a whim, which we will talk about in future episodes. It just started kind of on a whim, and it's always been that. Everything's been kind of on a whim, from the guests that we had on, from the equipment that we use, from the locations that we record. Like, everything has just been kind of like fly by the seat of our pants, and for the seam of our pants. I don't know how that saying goes, but I mean, it's been fun, and everything. I've really enjoyed everything that the show has brought. I just feel like it's kind of time that I open myself up to new opportunities in the future. It doesn't mean that I personally will never go back into a podcasting environment or anything like that. It's more just realizing that something's kind of, you gotten everything you kind of can out of a project, and I feel like I kind of have. So just wanted to announce the next 5 episodes are the last for the Closers. There's going to be hang tens and closing out the weeks, preceding and following each of those episodes, but closing out the week, which is the 31st of the year, actually. That'll come out then, that Friday, and that'll be the last episode of the network. From what I know, Quinn, do you have anything to add?
Not particularly. I mean, like Marco said, yep, the network, we have kind of reached, not necessarily at the end of the road, but we've achieved what we set out to achieve by doing this. And it wasn't like we were, swinging for the fences. It was more or less just something that, like Marco said, that was drafted on a whim. And then, everything was played by ear up to this point. And, we played loose and fast, and I think that was the way to do it. We had a tremendous amount of fun. I know from the first season being probably like the DJ Jazzy Jeff of the first season, to being more of a hosting role in the second season was tremendous, and I'm eternally grateful for that. For myself personally, it feels like the right time. Much like Marco also said, my life is seemingly getting increasingly more occupied with a variety of different things, most of which is academic. So it just kind of is what it is. Yeah. I don't think this is a definite closing of the door on the Closers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, we're definitely drawing down the gate. We are turning off the equipment.
Yep.
We are bringing things back behind the shelves, back behind the counters.
Yep.
We are starting closing procedures.
We are.
Which is beautifully poetic as the Closers.
Yep. Starting to balance the tills and everything.
That's right. That's right. And then over the next 5 weeks, we'll be counting the registers and cleaning things up.
Yeah.
And putting a bow on things. And yeah, it's been a blast. Oh, something that we completely neglected to say earlier and what we were thankful for. I am immensely thankful for the people who listened frequently, week in and week out. I want to give a special thanks to 2 friends of mine in particular who I know listened week in and week out. Mitchell Reeves, one of my best friends, one of my oldest friends, who was constantly sending me feedback and stuff like this. And shout out to Christian McGee, who also listened, who would repost some promos to her story too. So
that's awesome. Yeah, thank you. So
I'm
much.
I'm eternally grateful for that, for the support, and closing the door, but we're not throwing away the key.
Exactly. And I mean, since you hit on 2 more things you're thankful for, 2 more people, I'm thankful for my parents. From day one, they were supportive of me going down this road with podcasting, and they listened to almost every episode. Like, their support has helped me get to this point, because I mean, at the end of season 1, I didn't know if there'd be a season 2 or anything. I didn't have any plans for that, but the year went how it went, and it opened the door to kind of allow us to get the show to a point where we envisioned almost 2 years ago it could be at, and it got to that point, and it's something I'm very proud of. I always will be proud of it. And like Quinn said, maybe down the road things can, the situation and circumstances will allow for us to re-enter the podcast landscape, but we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. But for the next 4 weeks, at least, we're going to have 4 more episodes for you guys with guests. 4 of our favorite guests to have on. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We're hoping that everything kind of happens the way we think.
Winter is coming.
It's true. So over the next 4 weeks, we're hopefully going to have 4 of our favorite guests on to hang out with us for some of the last shows. And on the last podcast, we are going to go solo. Our first planned solo podcast that we've done. Most of the solo podcasts that we've done in the past have spawned from cancellations or things kind of getting in the way of guests being able to come on the show. So this is we're going to end it with the closers. Me and Quinn, we're closing it out. So that the last Wednesday of the year will be the last of the show for the Closers podcast. So
that's right. Get ready to queue up your supersonic.
Yeah, it'll be very, very fun. I'm looking forward to the last couple weeks doing the show.
Wait, what day is our last episode?
The last episode, it's the last Wednesday of the year, which is December 30th.
Hey, we could do that one in person. I mean, if things jive with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what we can and cannot do, but we'll keep that in mind for sure. But for now, as always, please follow us on the Closers Podcast Instagram, which is at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are the Closers Podcast. I will be hitting you with a closing out the week on Friday, and Quinn will be back with you on Monday for a Hang 10. So, without any further ado, for the Closers Podcast and Quinn Kalani, I am Mark Alvarado, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.